Hey everybody, welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie and we are actually going to dive into setting goals right now. What I mean by that is this. I do a morning live almost every single day and we go through a book and we talk about mindset and we talk about the importance of if you believe it and you see it and you pay attention to your words and you take action, you eventually will achieve it, right? But if you look at things negatively, if you are speaking trash, like there's so many things, positive and negative, right? So the reason I love to come on here and talk about books and go through books with you in the mornings is because I truly believe the power of mindset is going to, well, your mindset is going to either, it's directing you either way, right? And so this morning, after we finished this book right here, we just finished this morning. We talked about the power of the 5-second rule. I said tomorrow we're going to dive into goals, but actually we're going to do that now. I'm going to go through a couple things and we're going to actually start thinking about our goals now. We're not going to wait until January. We're not going to wait until December 28th or 29th. I know that there's Christmas around the corner and who's still shopping, I'd love to know. Actually, our kids have already opened up everything, so we're done. We're actually traveling on Christmas Day. But we did things a little bit different this year, and it's actually been so much fun. So if you're watching while you're shopping, if you're at home wrapping presents, if you're thinking to yourself, I need to go start, whatever the case may be, I want you to just think about a couple things as you're going through your next couple days before we get to January. So I was thinking, what should I do today, right? What should we talk about? And I am going to shake up my ketones. So I shake up ketones every time I give you a keto tip in the afternoon. And actually I'm shaking up a protein shake, mainly because I just want a protein shake. So here's the deal. Actually, I kind of need to turn because I don't have a table in front of me. So what I want to do is I want to go through this book with you and I want to give you just some very tactical things to think about and an action step to do as you are, as my protein is ripping open, as you are wrapping presents and shopping and doing all the fun things. So first of all, where are you tuning in from? And I'm tuning in from Minnesota. If you're brand new, post a new below. I'd love to chat with you and get to know your goals. I am shaking up a protein shake. It's a keto protein. I normally shake up, I call it my mom fuel, but it's ketones in the afternoon. I decided to drink this instead. We really didn't have lunch. We ate like a brunch. We ate today like a really late breakfast and I'm not hungry. I didn't eat lunch. Anyways, this is what I'm having. It's not meant to be a meal replacement. It's a protein shake and I'm actually adding our creamer that we put in our coffee, but I like the collagen for my hair and skin. So I actually add the creamer to my protein. So that's what I'm having this afternoon. It's a chocolate protein and a peppermint cream. So it kind of makes a peppermint shake. It's actually really good. So I need to know, where are you tuning in from? And who actually has not done their shopping? Is there anybody that has not done their shopping yet? I actually did. We went to Cabela's. Do you guys have Cabela's by you? The girls and I went to Cabela's this afternoon and we were finding something for my dad. Anybody else feel like dads are the hardest? I feel like whatever they want, they buy themselves. So we just went and found something just kind of silly. I have protein all over my pants. We have church tonight. We're doing Christmas Eve service. And so, just so people that can travel and do the things. Anyways, I'm singing on the worship team. I just started doing that. I'm going to talk about something, fear, in just a second. Actually, I'm going to share 3 things that I did not do in my life because of fear and what other people told me. Isn't it interesting how we don't do things because we think people are going to judge us or people tell us we can't do that or why would you do that or you really stink at that? And so, anyways, I'm going to drink some protein. And here's the deal. We're going to set some goals. Are you ready? Or at least have an awareness of it. Oh, if you want to know about my protein, if you just want to know about mom fuel, just ketones in general, it's a tool. I'll be talking more about it specifically throughout the week. You can just post 5 in the comments, so we'll chat. I'll share with you all the things, how I got started, why I drink them, all of the things. So if you want to know more about my mom, feel post 5. I also would love for you to press the share button. Sharing is caring. And it allows other people to join us. So do that. Here's what I want to go over with you. Actually, I would love to know who sets goals. Do you already have goals set for the new year? And are they specific? So I didn't ask anybody to get this book mainly because it was given to me, but I was just going to walk you through the book. Okay. First things first, you first put in the effort and then you receive the benefits. So as we're going into the new year, as you're thinking about the things that you want to achieve over the course of 12 months, it's going to require work, it's going to require discipline, and it's going to require more work, right? So you don't get anything overnight. Everybody that you watch on social media, there wasn't luck. I guess the lottery is luck. But besides that, I really don't believe in luck. I really believe in hard work. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about real quick, and then I'm going to have you make a list to yourself. This is up to you if you do it or not. I'm going to do it myself as well. I started it yesterday, and I realized I don't have enough dreams. Anybody else feel like that? Like you're in mom mode or work mode, and then somebody says, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? And you're like, I'm a mom. I'm like, I love to read. So it might stretch you just to think about goals or things that you want to achieve over the next year, right? So here's something that I just want to give you perspective or thought of that you might have to work through. More than 90% of what is put into our minds daily is of negative nature. So the first thing you're going to have to work on is your mindset, right? Whether that's listening to a podcast or reading people that you're watching. And here's the reasons that hinder people's goals. I want to give you an awareness of why you might have not reached your goals this last year, or maybe you have never reached your goals, or if you can get past these things, why you can reach your personal goals. So here are the reasons why people do not reach their goals. Number 1, fear. The first reason is because of fear, F-E-A-R, which stands for false evidence appearing real. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of somebody might judge you? Are you afraid that your parents or your spouse or somebody might say, you'll never look like that? Oh, you're never going to lose the weight. I can't believe you're going to a gym. Or maybe you're just afraid to walk into a gym, right? It's the power of what people say over us and what we think somebody might say, and they might never say it. I'm going to tell you 3 things. Right when I was done with high school, actually, I think I went to visit a college in South Dakota. I'm from Minnesota, born and raised, and I really wanted to be a sign language interpreter. I wanted to be an interpreter so badly. So I took classes. I took all of the community ed classes I could take. I went to visit a college out in South Dakota, and I became afraid. Nobody was going with me. We all went to the college visit, and I walked around, and I was 18, and shame on me, I didn't seek out counsel either, right? So you can be afraid of things. And I actually didn't tell my parents that I was afraid to go. I just said, I don't want to go. I didn't want to go. I want to stay back, work, save some money. Like I made up all of the excuses. I was afraid. So I didn't do it. And thinking back today as an adult, I wish somebody would have asked me like, are you sure it's just because you want to save money? Like, you really were passionate about sign language. Why are you not doing it? And of course I could go and do it now, but there's one instance where I didn't do it. I was afraid. Number 2, then I decided to go to a community college. Do you ever think about things that you regret in life, right? So I went to a local college, I worked, I decided to enroll in the nursing program. I wanted to be a nurse. I actually wanted to be an OB nurse, and today I actually think I would be an incredible nurse. So I enrolled in the program. I remember going to my first anatomy and physiology class. I sat in the big class. They were doing a lecture. And the first thing they said, what does everyone want to do? What kind of nurse? And I was like, I want to be an OB nurse. I really want to support women. I want to deliver babies. I really want to do it. And the lady said, you will never be an OB nurse. There's too many of them. It's in too high demand, and you will never get to be that. And I remember turning beet red, and I remember going, then I don't want to be a nurse. That's all I want to do. So I actually never went back to the class. I was like, well, I'm not going to do nursing anymore. So I went for a business degree. Boring. Although I don't even use my degree today. But those were 2 instances, right? Number 3. And I've had a lot of things that people have said to me, you can't do or you won't do, and I need you to know something. I want you, when I ask you to make a list, if you decide that you're going to take control of your life or there's things that you have a passion about, you're going to have to do the activity, right? I have been a singer my whole life. I am not a professional singer, but I love to sing and I love to worship. And my dad and my mom pushed me to sing for years. When I was young and I had my own little show at the fair until I graduated, I would sing for an hour. I got paid to do it. I would sing country songs and I loved it. And then I joined a couple worship teams and there was one man, and I didn't think it affected me, but one man that said something super hurtful one time, and he was like, you actually can't sing. Or like, I think I asked about learning how to do harmony, and the man was like, yeah, I'm not going to have you sing. I'm not going to have you actually sing any of the solos because you can't sing. And I kept thinking, why didn't anybody else tell me I couldn't sing? Like, I've been singing my whole life. Again, not like a Carrie Underwood. I don't expect like, oh my goodness. But it was one of those like, oh, and you want to know what happened? I actually dropped off the worship team and I did not try out. Every church I've been at, I would watch the worship and I'm like, oh my goodness, I love it. And I would see myself worshiping and I love it. And then some of our girls, I know this is getting long, but I decided a few months ago I was going to audition or just reach out to the worship leader. And I'm like, hey, actually, I think I could help. I would love to support. And I told myself I was doing it because I wanted to show the girls, our daughters, I wanted to lead by example. They had talked about doing worship. They had talked about playing and singing. And I said, listen, I just told myself, if I do this, it'll show the girls that I'm not afraid. It'll show them to go after the things they're passionate about. So I really talked myself into doing it because I thought I was doing it for them. And then realized, then one of my daughters is like, I don't want to play guitar anymore. I don't really want to worship. And I was like, I did this for you. And then I realized, no, I actually did it for me. I tell you that because I want you to know something. People are mean. Not all people, but my daughter has an Instagram page and it's called A Girl with Jesus. Her goal is to encourage teens to bring about a positive mindset, to just not be so negative and gossipy, right? So she did her first live the other day and it was great. And she was just answering questions. She did a live earlier today and she got off of it and she said, Mom, people are so mean. Like they were telling me mean things of how I look. They were saying disgusting things. They were calling me a Bible bait, like mean. And I want you to know something. I said, Amelia, if you decide to put yourself out there, which if you decide to have goals and you decide to dream and you might decide to write things down and put it on your mirror or eventually somebody's going to find out you have goals and somebody might be mean about it. And guess what? You have to have the determination that, you know what? Hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. And if you have goals and you have a desire in your heart and you can put a couple steps into play, it doesn't matter what other people say. So you might not believe that you can lose the 100 pounds or the 50 pounds, or maybe you want to be a coach to somebody someday. But if you can just take a step back and it doesn't matter what other people say. I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do the activities. I'm going to take the action. I'm going to do it consistently every single day. And I bet that if I do this and I give myself an adequate amount of time, I'm going to give myself 1 year. What if this next year you're like, I'm going to do this for a year? And let's see if anything changes in my life, no matter what anybody else says, right? So the first thing that he went over was he just says, I want to bring awareness to you. The reason people don't hit their goals is because, number one, they're afraid. Number 2, they've got a poor self-image, which we're going to work on. That's why we read, right? That's why we talk about the power of our mindset. So poor self-image. Number 3, the reason people don't achieve their goals is because no buy-in. So he says, I'm going to give you the specific tools. I'm going to give you the steps. You have to do the work, right? It's not handed to you. He says, you will be able to work when you work and play when you play and have your mindset not all over the place. We're going to get specific and focused. The last one, I think there was one more. He talks about time. He's really big on time. Oh, he says people don't know how. There should really never be an excuse if I don't know how. It's just a lack of direction, right? And so if you don't know how to do something, we have every single thing that we need accessible at our fingertips. Or even just, Siri, please tell me how to bake this cake, right? So the I don't know how is really just I need to take a little bit of time to go figure out how. There's YouTube, there's Google, there's pages like this. It's not even just mine. There's recipes and tips and tricks. All it comes down to is I need to put into action what I've been learning. And I need steps on how to do it. And then I actually have to do it. But you need to be committed to yourself. You need to have the why behind what you're doing. And then you're going to have to put into play everything that he says to do. So here's your very first action step. Are you ready? And I'd love to know if you actually do it. He says it's not abilities. It's not your ability. You're not born with all of these things that you want to do inside of you. I mean, the know-hows. What makes the difference is our thinking and our direction. You've got to have the right mindset, and then you've got to know where to go, and then you have to do it. Right? Okay. He says, too many Americans spend so much time planning their wedding and don't actually spend time planning their marriage. And he just gives that in context. He's like, why do we spend so much time planning, and don't look at the big picture? And then really we have to take the action. So here's the thing I need you to think about. Number 1, have you written out your goals? Have you written them down? As you're shopping, as you're wrapping, as you're laying in bed, as you're all of you shower, I hope, right? All of you get ready in the mornings. You do your makeup, get ready. Like when you're cooking, what are you doing with your time? I want you to think about your goals. What is on your heart? What have you always been wanting to learn or do or achieve? What is it? And then you need to start writing them down. That's going to be the number 1 action step. He says, have you spelled out the details of why you want to do each of these goals? So what are your goals? Why do you want to do them? And what are the obstacles that you might have to overcome? So we're going to start tomorrow on step number 2. Here's step number 1. Actually, I'm going to revisit it tomorrow. Number 1 is you have to write down your goals. Step number 1 is writing down everything that you want to do or have. That's it. No thinking, how am I going to get it? I can't afford that. It will never happen. All I'm asking you to do is get out a piece of paper or a journal. I would highly recommend getting a notebook that you can write in for the rest of the year. And you have to write down everything that you want to do or have. That's it. It could be in 10 years. I just want you to write it down. Do or have. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to have? The reason you need to write it down is simply because writing requires greater concentration, which moves what you have written into a subconscious mind. Okay, so it's important you have to write them down. Write them down. That's all I'm going to ask you to do, because what you're going to do is you're going to write, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about writing and the next step. So I've given you 1 action step. Write your goals. Anything. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to have? Who's committed? Is there anybody? I'm going to do it. Actually, I'm going to show you something. I've actually already done it. I've started it. And remember how I told you I don't dream big enough? I don't. I went through this the other day. Where's my list? Oh, here it is. All right. I am committed. I will be doing, I've been talking about this for a long time. Writing a book, but the book isn't going to actually be a written book. I'm going to do lives. I'm going to speak the book that I want to write. We're going to turn it into a podcast, and then we're going to write the book out of the lives. Does that make sense? So I'm going to work on, I said lives, podcasts, into a book. I'm going to do it, hands down. I have business goals that I have written down. We have some more financial goals for our family we have written down. I have getting a horse for our daughter. I have kitchen renovations. I have a Florida trip with my family. We have, my oldest daughter wants to write a book. I want to help her with that. Our youngest daughters want to do great in tennis. Like, there's just things that I kind of wrote down them and I was like, all right, I can do all of these things. They've already been on my heart, but what else do I want? I don't know. I really don't know. And so what he's going to do is he's going to have you write everything down. We're going to talk about the why you have them written down. We're going to talk about eliminating some things that might not be great to focus on this year. We're going to make sure that they're not hurting anybody else, right? And he wants to make sure they're balanced. Like, if I had all of my goals and every single one of my goals was based on our business, but then all of a sudden I was 24/7 focused on our business, what do you think would lack? My relationships with my kids and my spouse, and then maybe our home. Like, so he also says there's also a point to where you need to look at the 5 spokes of your life. So as you're writing out goals, don't think about just fat loss, all right? It's important in your health. I want you to think about things like, if you have to write this down, think about, do you have any relationship goals with your spouse or your kids, or maybe you want to get married, or maybe whatever it is, relationships, friends, financial goals. What are some financial goals? What are some physical goals? That's why you're all here, right? What are some spiritual goals or mental, like your mentality, mental, physical, spiritual, right? And then, so there's finances, relationship, spiritual, physical, and I'm missing one. Relationships, physical, financial, spiritual. I don't know. I'll write them all down. I'll write them down for you just to think about. So I hope that I wish I could do this for you. I was thinking today, I was like, I really should have been a counselor. I would have loved to do that. I just talk online. It's great. I think there's a lot of things I actually would have loved to do. I really would have loved to be a baby nurse, but it is what it is. I've learned, and now you can walk other people through the things that maybe you have not done in your life because somebody told you couldn't, or that you shouldn't, or that you wouldn't be able to accomplish it. It's all right. Okay, that's your step. Go write down your goals. Know how am I going to afford it? None of that. What is your desire? Go write them down and then tune back in tomorrow. Tomorrow will be in the morning. We're going to talk about this in the morning. You can always catch the replays too. So I hope you have an incredible day. I appreciate you all. I should probably drink my protein, and I have to get ready to go worship tonight. We're doing Christmas Eve service. And so we're going to be doing Christmas songs, Silent Night, Oh Holy Night, Joy to the World, all of those fun things. It's going to be great. So I appreciate you all. Continue to reach out. I'm here to help, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.